having a business mailing address is important for your business in a number of reasons. And if you are doing a kind of non-traditional type business, like you work from home, meet clients elsewhere, one of the biggest challenges to doing that is how to deal with the mail.
Yes, how to deal with the mail, and also what address do you register with the state, with the authorities, for publishing, for all to see.
Even on the internets?
On the internets. Even before all of the self-isolation stuff that is going on with coronavirus, we would encounter a lot of business owners who worked from home. They either, like Colin said, they have, a non-traditional kind of a business, maybe an internet-based business, or maybe it's a side business where they invest in real estate. But either way, they have to have some sort of business address. Now, as more businesses are even transitioning to being kind of a work from home situation, it becomes even more important to have that business address. And what happens when you need to receive mail and publish that address in places?
Yeah. And for ourselves in our own business, we had actually been pushing to reduce a lot of our expenses. Our biggest expense has always been office space. Mm-hmm. And so we've been trying to push our business to have as many just variable expenses as possible. So expenses that only exist when we have a client, or, like a new client comes on,
right?
That sort of thing. So basically, you're not paying for an office every day. You're only paying for office as you use it. So again, the biggest challenge has been, how do you deal with the mail? People are always going to send you things in the mail, even no matter how many times you tell them, don't send me anything. I don't want it. Email it to me. Upload it here. Don't send me anything. And, it's pretty hard to avoid. Somebody's always going to mail you something. We've made some mistakes before with mailing addresses, but let's talk about some tips to setting up a office address solution that is not a traditional office that you're at all the time.
Yes. Let's do it, Colin.
So there's a lot of services that will provide you with like a virtual business address or mailing address service. There's lots of them: Earth Class Mail, Traveling Mailbox, Anytime Mailbox. The list probably goes on and on. Basically, these companies are...
And we've tried a lot of them.
We have. And basically, these companies are technology services that interface between you and some sort of physical mail receiving location, a mail receiving agent. And what we've discovered is that the quality of the service you get is dependent on that agent who's actually receiving your mail.
Yeah.
And so for us, we want somebody who does a good job receiving our mail, scanning it, taking care of it, but also a place where we could go by in person and pick things up if we needed to. Early on, we had one of these mailing services through Traveling Mailbox, and somebody would send us a package, like a $5 book or something. And the address in Seattle couldn't accept packages, so they forwarded it to North Carolina, and then they got it in North Carolina and said, hey, do you want us to forward this to you? By then, it had already gotten like $50 in additional fees for forwarding the packages around the country. My tip is to, if you're looking at these services, is to look at the agents who are going to be receiving the mail. So you can do that. You go into the service, you look at the address, and they basically tell you what it is. A lot of them are UPS stores. A lot of UPS stores are just franchises that have been recently started. They're people who've probably never handled mail in their life. You don't know what you're going to get. For us, we went with Anytime Mailbox because it was, if you're in the Seattle area, the agent who receives the mail is called Sip and Ship, and they are a fantastic business. They've been in this business probably long before there were even these digital mail scanning services.
And we interviewed the owners on a Lawyer Human Show podcast. Plug.
Yeah, so we know they're going to do a great job. We know they're going to provide great service. And the big thing for us was that they have free local pickup. So if we get a package or, some important piece of mail that we don't want scanned or, forwarded by some other service, we can drop by in person and pick it up. And that is fantastic.
Yeah.
So when you are setting up these address mailing services, you have to submit forms to the post office. It's a Form 1583.
Oh, okay.
And basically you have to authorize the postal service to deliver your mail to this agent. You have to set one up for each business name you have and your names, and you sign off, get it notarized. And once you get that all set up, then these services can begin to accept your mail. You can use that street address as the location for your business. You don't have to publish your home address online under your business. It looks more professional. It provides more privacy,
which is important.
if you don't want people showing up at your house or whatever.
We got some stories about that if you ever want to hear them.
And there you have it. I think that's about
Yeah.
all we got on mailing services. Check out who the agent is. Once you know who that agent is, go look at their online reviews to see if they do a terrible job
Yes.
or a great job at handling mail and your important packages.
And if it's local, then you might be able to drop in person and check them out and get a real vibe on the place.
Get some coffee.
Get some coffee.
Yeah, you know what? Because I know the UPS store next to our current office is terrible. A lot of times you'll go in there and nobody's there.
Yeah.
Or they're like smoking pot in the back or something like that.
Yeah, I know. Or in the front. Yeah. And then they watch you walk in and don't do anything.
There you have it. If you like this video, give it a like. Be sure to subscribe for wonderful videos, helpful videos, such as how to get mail in the mail. Digitally.
And in the comments, I am going to post a link to the Sip and Ship episode.
Ooh, Sip and Ship. All right. Thanks, Shreya.
Thanks, Colin.
Thanks, people watching. Goodbye.